am going to go drop off this trailer from the other day. You guys are probably wondering what it gets paid because I haven't talked numbers in a little while, and I also want to make a couple of mentions because I've been getting a ton of questions about getting into power only hotshot. This trailer back here, obviously coming out of the West, is really difficult as a power only. This load pays, I think it was like $2,060 and 50 odd cents, and it probably took like 17, 18 hours on the GPS. So 2 days of work for about $2,000. And realistically, if you think about it, unless you have something else lined up on top of it, this is why I like longer hauls, this trailer here, it was just enough to get us out of the West for about $2,000, and then you got to minus your expenses, so whatever your numbers are going to come out to. So the reason I'm using the gross numbers there is because your expenses are going to be different than mine. So I generally keep a little bit more of my expenses than most people will because of the older truck, which is what I like about older vehicles, and simplicity, you know, whatever. But I want to urge people that if you are going to get into power only and you are going to do this full time, that at some point you look into a trailer. This is a absolute great way to start out and get yourself established. Obviously you do want to have a savings before you get into it, but you also will use this to build up your savings even more and then get yourself a trailer. I was going to go get myself a trailer. Unfortunately, I will be back this weekend. I have a $12,000 check going out the door on Monday. So Monday is the official day of goodbye money. So I was going to use some of that money to go get a trailer, but it is what it is. I am looking into leasing a trailer now. I just don't want to go through too much more money. I would like to recoup that money before I spend anything else on anything. So just in case something happens with the truck, like, even though I can afford the little things that I say I want. So it's definitely keep as much in your pocket as a spare as possible. So again, how I decide it's time to spend money on certain things is I see how much money I made for the 3 weeks, and I decide how much I want to set aside, which is a very small percentage, to go into things that are like necessary, like a fuel tank and stuff like that. I try to set aside, or I try to spend as little money as necessary on things. If I need stuff, I try to buy it in little amounts. So that's just how I do it. Even though I could go out and spend $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in one shot, that's a really good way to go out of business very quickly. Even though my overhead is very low, it's just if you don't have enough to replace your equipment, if something happens, it's not worth it. So again, that's just something I stress for all the guys that have been asking me, where do I get my loads? How do I get my loads? How do I get into power only? How do I do this, that? Because I know, I get it, you know, it looks easy when you watch somebody on YouTube do it. There's a lot of work that goes behind the background. There's a lot of things I don't film. So you just need to realize that there's not an insane amount of money into it, but you know, I'll gross about 4 to 6K a week. But at the same time, how much of that goes out of the door and how much of that are you spending on deadhead? Most of the time it's about 4K. You'll hit a 6K every now and again, but you really got to work for it and pick your loads correctly. So it sounds nice, you know, from me telling you, but then you go out on paper and it's just like, or you actually go out and do it and it's like, oh, why am I only making 3,500 or 3,000? And you know, I've made less. I've made $2,000 in a week before. Not this year, but like when I was running before. It's just one of those things. You got to decide, is it worth it to you? And a lot of guys think it's worth it until they start doing it for a couple of weeks, and even though the money's rolling in or they don't budget properly, you just don't enjoy it. So I actually do enjoy this, but just little things for you guys. So I'm actually here now. I'm gonna go get this thing dropped. Probably film some of it. I think I'm at the right place. Oh, I gotta put my logbook. All right, that trailer is gone. Now I don't get paid for it till next Wednesday. That is the downside to some manufacturers. This is why most of the time we do stuff that's not like that, but that's just gonna be the beginning of this video. Now I'm going to pick up an Airstream tomorrow from Illinois, and that is going all the way to the port of Maryland, again, Dundalk, and then I'm going home. So I will be home. I'll definitely be home Friday, but I was thinking that I could probably be home before that. But I think I'll be home. I'm gonna drop off and be home probably by like noon. But I'll show you that. We're heading. It's snowing now, nothing crazy, but we do need to roll out. So I found a Love's about 3 hours away, and we're rolling to that. Oh, there she is. Looks like there's already some dents and scratches in it. That's good, because you do not want to be responsible for damaging one of these. These things are expensive. This one should make up for all the people complaining about the last one that I took. Not too bad. Take one sketchy load and people complain and lose their minds. Oh my goodness, he should be put out of service. No, you should get some tissues and stop worrying about things that aren't affecting other people. So there it is. These things are expensive, and I get to be the lucky guy to take it. We're going back to Dundalk, Maryland, the port of Maryland. So I do want to make mention of a lot of this stuff in the video, just in case, like dents and over here. Like this is all dings and dents. This was repaired before. You can see it bowed in and pulled out. And then over here it was hit. But lots of little dings and dents all over this thing. It's definitely had its fair share of abuse. So just to cover our butts, we should be fine. We've got my battery going in here so that we can have the trailer's lights working. There's that. There we go. And then this now works. So it looks like this one needs to stay really, really low. You can see on the level here that the hitch is too high. So I put it down on the bottom setting. We'll see what that does. Hopefully it sits perfectly level. That's all I'm worried about. All right, ball is greased. The paperwork is taken care of. Come on. I gotta come back a little bit. I'm gonna do this one for the crybabies. So, like I said, this thing's going to the port of Maryland. The breakaway is kind of snapped, so this was their solution to it. So, unfortunately, these things are never long enough to do what they need to do. I prefer to go around the bumper and wrap back around, but they're so short. All right, fixed it. It has less slack now in the chains. All right. Let's go over this fucking thing. Fucking dents, scratches. Here it is. Here's a big one right here. All right. Big one right there. What these things look like on the inside. I guess they really do wonders with this stuff's gonna go everywhere. They really do wonders with packing stuff in here though, so I'll give them that. Like storage, yeah. Hopefully this is all right. I'll be able to cook food on the road. All right, not too bad. All right, we're hooked up now, getting ready to head out. Looks like everything's pretty good. Other than the fact that, you know, it's got a bunch of dings and dents on it. It's from the 70s, so, but they're really expensive. It's going to the Port of Maryland. I have a certificate of those propane tanks being empty, so that's good. So we're gonna head out that way, about 12.5 hours, so I will be dropping sometime in the morning. And I'm going home tomorrow for a little bit, so. All right, so I'm at my first fill up now with this trailer, and we're gonna see, does a intact Airstream get better fuel economy than a smashed one? So we shall see. Luckily this one has a plate on it. I don't have to put my own plate on it. It is really low to the ground, so that kind of sucks. It's kind of angled up just a wee bit, but there's nothing really I can do about it, as I'm already as low as possible and I'm not flipping my hitch the other way around. I am going to be working on getting the suspension a little bit lower on the truck. Like I said, I am planning on getting an air suspension front and rear at some point, but oh, look at that, it clicked. So I do want to go a little bit lower. I do want to get a 33-inch tire, and obviously still same width and everything. I love how like wide it is. So that's in the plans. So it should help for some of these other, like some of these trailers that are like really weird, but unfortunately like some of the ones that are taller, like the one I did the other day when it was angled down. So I don't know, but that's just my plans with it. I like it. Plus you get a little bit better fuel economy being lower. I don't know if it was just from being out west or not, but the Northwood that I just pulled, that little tiny trailer, actually felt a lot heavier than Airstream did. So I don't even feel the Airstream back there. I'm cruising at like 12, 13 pounds of boost, maybe 15 at times. Like it's not heavy at all. So hopefully we get good mileage. I have another 200 miles until I'm done for the night, and then head out in the morning. Sorry guys, I chose to edit last night instead of filming the rest of the where I dropped off at. So we're about to go get fuel, 35 minutes from a mud flap area, and it seems like we're getting decent fuel economy with this trailer. You know, it is kind of neat. The more that you do this, the more you find yourself filling up at the same places and going to the same highways. And usually I like to stop at Love's at night, and it's kind of weird that I'm like, hey, I was just at this one the other day, you know? So the pathing is kind of very similar between I-70, 80, 90, and so on. So did find fuel again. Only 10 cents off, but not a big deal because we're getting it for $2.90, which is great. Other than that, you know, I don't really mention this a lot. Down in the description is my Facebook, personal Facebook, my business Facebook, and my Instagram. Is there any way we could get you guys to go blow that up? Like, can we get 1,000 followers on Instagram? I'm at like 608 right now. I mean, it's not the biggest deal. I don't really post a lot on there, but when I do, you guys see some of the things before I actually do it, like this trailer that I posted up long before this video. So, can we do that? Can we go blow my Instagram up? All right, still doing fine. No blowouts, doesn't look like. I'm gonna go check the other side. Half the lights don't work on this damn thing. Look at that, 4 good tires. See my reflection. Oh yeah. Oh man. So funny enough, the rolled over Airstream was, every one of the lights worked on it. This one, no, not so much. I'll show you. Look at that. Already got lights out. Light out, light out. Hopefully that doesn't overflow. Light, no, those are markers. Yeah, we got some lights out, so it is what it is. I don't know, that might just be a marker. I don't know, but that light's out. All right, so now for the moment of truth. You guys have asked me what my fuel economy is. This tank at 495,842 miles, I got 426 miles. These Airstreams are insane. So, I will divide that by the 33.196. That is 12.83 miles per gallon. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually. That's pretty good. So 426 miles to that tank. Absolutely, I will take that. I'm so used to getting 200 to 250 miles to a tank. So the fact that I got that many miles, I'll be able to drop this trailer off and not fill up again because I have 332 miles left. So that's pretty good. Like I said, am going with a smaller size on the tires. So that is coming. It's probably gonna be another 2 months, I would assume. Just assuming how many miles are gonna be on them. There's no point in replacing good tires because they are still good. So I'm gonna keep running that. I think I got a lead on getting them replaced. So I will, you know who you are. I'll hit you up when the time comes. So in the meantime, try to recoup some money, keep making more money, keep on working. I'm gonna make a bagel. So we're climbing up the hill up here in Maryland. You know, these hills are nothing to joke about on 68 through Maryland, and there was some sort of hotshot back there with a 4th generation Dodge Ram and a 40-foot trailer. And he was stuck in the far right lane, just sitting there with the hood up. Unfortunately, I couldn't have done anything about it because I was in the far left lane. I didn't see him until I was already like up on him. So nothing I could have really done there, but it sucks. Would have been nice to be able to help him out, but I guess it is what it is. Now I want you guys to understand that I have this truck extremely derated because I want parts to last a lot longer, like the drivetrain components and whatnot. So there was a bunch of people that asked if I tow in 6th gear, which I do. I was climbing that grade at about 55 miles an hour at like, I don't know, 1400 some RPMs. So I do pretty much leave this thing in 6th as much as possible until it gets down to the point where it's like, once you hit about like 54, 53, I'll throw it in 5th, but it doesn't really happen all that often. But yeah, I will lug the absolute hell out of 6th, and I haven't had any issues with the NV 5600 yet. I have noticed that in the higher mileage, like the gears kind of whine a little bit more when you try to shift with the clutch. And usually I just float them. That way I don't have to listen to it, because rather than pushing up against it until it goes in, anyone that has an NV 5600 will understand this. These things are beefy. They are hard to get into gear sometimes, no matter what you do, no matter what clutch you have, hydraulics, all that. You can be sitting at a stoplight, push your clutch in, and you'll fight it for about a second or two to get it into gear. And that's perfectly normal with an NV 5600. So I like to float them. I've learned that if I push the clutch in and I leave it in gear until just about a dead stop, pull it out, it'll slide right in 1st or 2nd. But most of the time I want to sit there with my foot off of it, so. But float every gear, they go right in. Same with upshifts, downshifts. I don't have to listen to the gears whining, and everything's good. This transmission has 497,000 miles on it. Probably gonna change the fluid here soon, but no issues with the NV 5600 at all. I did look up the whining on the forums, and I guess the dealerships and people were saying that it is completely normal. So I'm not worried about it for what it is, but for anyone worried about floating it, and how to operate it, just do it right. And I always add that 6th quart and I fill it through the shifter hole. All right, let's see how hot we can get this coolant temp. We ain't messing around on these grades today. Oh, are you really gonna do this, bro? 70 miles an hour up that mountain. Trailers are definitely nice to pull. I don't think I'll ever complain about doing one of these. It just sucks that they're so expensive, and easily, if you damage them, oof. Luckily, I've never had that problem, but even still, it's a very expensive trailer. Let's see if they like this Airstream going through the way station. Going through Maryland way station, we'll see. All right, I was gonna start filming, you know, in a little bit. I wasn't expecting to be moving this quick. So we came in here, there's like 50 trucks before us. Luckily, there was another guy that already signed in that we're going to the same place to, so they're gonna take both of us at the same time, which is great. Unfortunately, we're not using the same escort service that we usually do, but I prefer to use the escort service, even if I go get a TWIC card, because they handle all the crap and I can get in and out really quick. So we're gonna be following him here in a second, and then go from there. So we're gonna be dropping another one off at the port of Dundalk, Maryland. I vaguely remember someone saying to me, why didn't you have a plate on your trailer and whatnot? And most RV transporters do not run license plates. Case in point, no license plate. None of them that I've seen, not many of them do run them. So the fact that I have a license plate on my trailers now is kind of crazy, considering that the new ones, you really don't see it often. If you guys have ever been to Dundalk, this port, you know the road is really messed up, so they're actually working on it today. It's a miracle. The truck that's sitting in front of me, I feel like he went the correct route when it came to getting a new truck. I know a lot of guys say about the Chevys not performing or whatever. I've noticed from the Fords and the Rams, it's a complete shit show with the brand new trucks, the 19 to 21s. They all have reliability issues and whatnot. I have heard the Chevy, even though it's slower accelerating and faster down the hills, I have heard they do last a lot longer and are a little bit more reliable. So honestly, I can't say anything bad about them yet. I am looking to see what I really want to get some people's opinions on the newer Chevys. I've heard not too many bad things compared to Ford and Ram. Unfortunately, Ford and Ram are just a disaster from 2019 and up, and Ford from even further back. I understand they're great for rentals because of that 10-speed transmission, but after about 70,000 miles, that 10-speed transmission starts to take a toll in most of the trucks. So, let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, he's running a Chevy 3500, which I think they're ugly, but from a reliability standpoint, I feel like they're better than the other two. No added damage. Nothing that wasn't there before. Hell yeah. Alright, well, it is time to start cleaning this thing up. I want to reorganize back here. I am getting rid of the cooler and some of the other stuff back here. Gonna put this in the shed, the axles in the shed. I do need to pull the front drive shaft off. And I want to show you guys something because this is my fault and I wasn't paying attention to it. But this is a my bad moment. You guys see all that coolant? So you guys look down here, this metal line here, it's sitting up against the exhaust manifold. So I'm gonna try to make a bracket at some point because this actually came with 2 brackets. You can see there's one there, and then I think there was one like halfway down on the 12 valve, and I don't have any of them, and I might have made those lines a wee bit too short, so it's pulling it that way. So it's just sitting up against the exhaust manifold. So nothing, no big deal. I'm gonna pull it off, weld it and whatnot. So it's still, as you can tell, holding pressure. So I don't know how it's holding pressure, but it is. So other than that, I'm gonna pull all of the interior out. Look at this back window. Yeah, there we go. So get all this stuff cleaned up. Probably take it to get detailed at some point, and let's get to cleaning. All right, and just like that, I got the bed cleaned out. I'm gonna take the fridge home because I have stuff in there that's perishable. I got all the blankets and everything, so now we're gonna get rolling. I love the sound of this thing. I feel like you guys will like this too. Here we go, let's see how fast it starts. Yeah, there we go. I go to Walmart. Listen to this dude.